This is not something I should do again. I need to make sure I don't make the same mistake. People all throughout the globe are captivated by royal gestures. No, it's about more than that. It's as if a single incident can cast a spell that no one can predict. The world watched closely as Saudi prince presented Catherine, Princess of Wales, with an opulent gift, and everyone was curious to see her response. This was no ordinary token of appreciation. The Rose of Jeddah was an exquisite pink diamond necklace with a 20-carat gem set in the middle, and lesser diamonds and white gold filigree that were worth more than £2 million. The presentation of the velvet box, with its contents shimmering beneath the diplomatic reception's chandeliers, was a moment that royal insiders murmured about. But after that, what transpired? The response from Catherine was more than kind. The world marveled at her grace as she gave a masterclass in diplomacy, and the Saudi prince nodded in reverence. Refusing a gift wasn't the point here. Stood for something more profound, an understated declaration of principles, an homage to heritage, and an amalgamation of civilizations. The Rose of Jeddah wasn't simply told no by Catherine. A silk shawl that had been hand-woven was a more modest and significant gift, so she decided to accept it instead. Created using natural indigo dyes and embellished with traditional Saudi patterns. She then stunned everyone by sending the prince a pair of custom-made cufflinks made of sterling silver in London. The cufflinks were inscribed with Celtic knots, which represent unity and eternity. These seemingly insignificant actions demonstrated to the world that money isn't the measure of genuine diplomacy. Relationships are key. Now we may jump into the plot. Discover the profound impact of Catherine's actions, from the dazzling offer to the touching interaction. The present itself must be considered first in order to comprehend Catherine's choice. Jewels weren't the only thing the Rose of Jeddah was. It was a statement. One of the rarest stones in the world is a pink diamond, and this one, from the Argyle mine in Australia, was perfect. Like a desert sunset, its blush tone catches the light. The famous Parisian jeweler who created the necklace drew inspiration from Saudi architectural details for its elaborate design, which included arches and stars interwoven into the setting. The grandeur of the Saudi kingdom was reflected in the precise placement of each diamond. Those in the know inside the Saudi royal family said it was an homage to Catherine's grace and a symbol of the strengthening links between the two countries. These kinds of presents, however, are never just about aesthetics. The tradition of costly presents is well ingrained in Saudi society, representing both hospitality and prestige. From the sapphire suite that Diana gave to Queen Elizabeth II, to the diamond necklaces that Elizabeth II wore, the leaders of the country have a tradition of presenting foreign guests with lavish jewels. As a diplomatic gesture, the prince offered the Rose of Jeddah to the British royal family as a token of respect and to further cement his ties to them. But it was also significant. The subtle expectation of payback in diplomatic favors, implied by accepting such a gift, could be seen as an indication of duty. As the future queen consort, Catherine had a lot riding on the outcome. The 2003 revisions to the royal protocol admonish against receiving lavish presents, stating that the recipients should think about the motivations of the donors as well as how the public may view them. Catherine's position as a contemporary royal gave another dimension. She is a worldwide symbol whose actions are closely watched. She is not merely a figurehead. The complicated human rights record of Saudi Arabia makes it all the more likely that accepting a necklace worth £2 million will provoke criticism. Catherine was very aware that everyone was observing. It wasn't merely the jewelry that influenced her decision. Skillfully walking a diplomatic tightrope was the theme. The atmosphere in the golden reception hall appeared to come to a standstill as soon as the Rose of Jeddah was revealed. The Saudi prince graciously smiled as he delivered the velvet box to Catherine, and the whispers of the assembled dignitaries faded into the gentle light of the crystal chandeliers. Anyone could have been enchanted by the pink diamond centerpiece of the necklace, a glittering emblem of riches and prestige. Still, Catherine, elegantly posed in an emerald gown, never wavered. A graceful waltz of diplomacy characterized her reply, so that a possible rejection becomes an occasion to rejoice in common principles. It was an embrace-like rejection, the type of moment that royal observers would analyze for years. Catherine had a brilliant strategy. With a genuine and friendly face, she leaned slightly toward the prince while admiring the necklace. She spoke with a gentle yet clear voice that betrayed her genuineness, praising the work as breathtaking. The artistry is exquisite, but it is the authenticity of your culture's customs that moves me the most. I'd be deeply honored to accept a gift that reflects that heritage. Her words were deliberate, chosen to honor the prince's generosity while gently steering the conversation toward cultural meaning over material value. It was a pivot so seamless that the room seemed to exhale in relief. The prince, a seasoned diplomat himself, caught her intent immediately. With a nod, he gestured to an aide who presented a second gift, a hand-woven silk shawl from Al-Azhar, its deep indigo threads embroidered with delicate palm fronds and desert roses. This was no afterthought, it was a piece of Saudi Arabia's cultural heart, crafted by artisans whose work told stories of the land and its people. Catherine's face lit up as she ran her fingers over the fabric, her gratitude evident in the way she held it close. "This is beautiful," she said, "and it means so much to carry a piece of your heritage." Later, she wore the shawl at a private palace event, a quiet nod to the prince's thoughtfulness that didn't go unnoticed. This wasn't just about sidestepping a diplomatic landmine. Catherine's choice reflected her deep understanding of the moment's nuances. A blunt refusal could have been misread as disrespect. Risking a chill in UK-Saudi relations at a time when trade and energy partnerships were under discussion. By praising the Rose of Jeddah but embracing the shawl, she acknowledged the prince's gesture without entangling herself in the implications of a £2 million gift. It was a calculated move, rooted in royal protocol and her own emotional intelligence. She knew the world was watching, not just the diplomats in the room, but the global audience on social media, ready to pass every detail. What made the moment even more powerful was its authenticity. Catherine's warmth wasn't rehearsed. It was the same quiet empathy she shows when comforting a child at a charity event or listening intently to a world leader. That genuineness bridged the gap between protocol and human connection, making the prince feel respected rather than rebuffed. Royal insiders later shared that he spoke highly of her tact, calling her a true ambassador. In that fleeting exchange, Catherine didn't just navigate a diplomatic challenge. She built a moment of mutual respect that would echo far beyond the palace walls. Catherine's story didn't end with accepting the silk shawl. In a move that turned a diplomatic exchange into a heartfelt dialogue, she responded with a gift of her own. One that carried the weight of British heritage and her personal touch. She sent the Saudi prince a pair of sterling silver cufflinks crafted by a storied jeweler in London's Hatton Garden, a district synonymous with artisanal excellence. These weren't just accessories, they were a symbol of connection. Each cufflink, engraved with a Celtic knot, an ancient motif representing unity, eternity, and the interwoven bonds of friendship. The design, subtle yet profound, was chosen to mirror the cultural depth of the shawl, creating a perfect balance of reciprocity. The craftsmanship behind the cufflinks was a story in itself. Forged by artisans whose families have worked with silver for generations, the pieces were hand-polished to a soft gleam, reflecting the understated elegance that defines Catherine's style. The Celtic knot, with its intricate loops, spoke to Britain's historical tapestry, its myths, its landscapes, and its enduring spirit. Accompanying the gift was a handwritten note from Catherine penned in her neat script, expressing gratitude for the prince's hospitality and a hope for lasting friendship between their nations. This personal touch, insiders say, moved the prince deeply as it showed a level of care that transcended protocol. In diplomacy, reciprocity isn't just courtesy, it's strategy. Catherine's choice of cufflinks adhered to royal guidelines that favor thoughtful, non-extravagant gifts, ensuring no perception of imbalance or obligation. Their value lay not in pounds, but in meaning. Aligning with the shore's cultural significance, the gestures showcased British craftsmanship, subtly promoting the UK's creative heritage on a global stage. Royal watchers noted how the cufflinks, though simple, carried a quiet power. Much like Catherine herself, never flashy, always impactful, the world took notice. On X, posts praised her elegant reciprocity, with one user calling the cuff a masterstroke of soft power. The exchange became a talking point in diplomatic circles, with analysts marveling at how Catherine turned a potential misstep into a celebration of shared values. The prince, by all accounts, was delighted, reportedly wearing the cufflinks at a later event as a nod to the bond forged. This wasn't just a gift, it was a bridge, built with care, and cemented with respect, proving that the smallest gestures can leave the deepest impressions. Why did Catherine, Princess of Wales, turn down the Rose of Jeddah, a £2 million pink diamond necklace that dazzled all who saw it? The answer weaves together personal conviction, royal protocol, global optics, and a keen awareness of the modern world's gaze. At its core, her refusal was about staying true to the values that define her as a royal and a person. Catherine has built an image of relatability, thanks her addresses, school runs, and heartfelt speeches on mental health. Accepting a necklace worth more than most people's homes could fracture that image, painting her as out of touch in an era of economic strain. She knew the public, quick to judge, might see extravagance where she saw diplomacy. Royal protocol played a significant role. The 2003 guidelines, born from past controversies like the 1980s Oman sports car scandal, urged caution with lavish gifts. Such presents, especially from influential nations like Saudi Arabia, can imply obligation, a diplomatic EOU that could complicate future relations. With Saudi Arabia's strategic ties to the UK, from oil to defense, Catherine's refusal avoided any hint of influence, preserving the monarchy's neutrality. Her decision reflected a deep understanding of the delicate balance royals must strike. In a world where every gesture is passed, then there's the global context. Saudi Arabia's human rights record, spotlighted by events like the 2018 Jamal Khashoggi murder, invites scrutiny. Accepting the Rose of Jeddah could have sparked backlash. As seen with the Countess of Wessex's 2012 Bahrain jewel controversy, Catherine, media-savvy and attuned to social media's pulse, likely foresaw the ex-posts and editorials that would question her choice. By refusing, she sidestepped a potential PR storm, reinforcing her reputation as a thoughtful, principled royal. On a personal level, Catherine's choice reflects her character. She's a woman who cherishes authenticity seen in her hands-on parenting and quiet charity work. The hand-woven shawl she accepted instead spoke to her appreciation for cultural meaning. Over monetary value, it wasn't just about avoiding a diplomatic misstep. It was about honoring her role as a bridge between nations. Her refusal wasn't cold or calculated. It was warm, grounded in a desire to do right by her family, her country, and the world, watching her every move. The world couldn't get enough of Catherine's diplomatic finesse, and the reaction was nothing short of electric. From the bustling newsrooms of London to the vibrant cafes of Riyadh, her refusal of the Rose of Jeddah and her thoughtful exchange of cultural gifts sparked a global conversation. British tabloids splashed headlines like, "Catherine's classy snub and a lesson in royal grace," while broadsheets like The Times lauded her as the queen of soft power. In Saudi Arabia, media outlets praised her respect for their heritage, with Al Riyadh calling her acceptance of the shawl a nod to our artisan's legacy. The story transcended borders, uniting royal watchers, diplomats, and everyday people in admiration. Social media erupted, amplifying the moment's reach. On X, hashtags like known royal diplomacy, Catherine class, and shawl over diamonds trended. For days, amassing millions of views, users shared fan-made graphics of the silk shawl's intricate patterns and speculated about the cufflink's Celtic knots. With one viral post reading, another user, a Saudi fashion blogger, posted a video analyzing the shawl's craftsmanship, garnering thousands of likes for highlighting its cultural significance. The online buzz wasn't just about the gifts, it was about what they represented: mutual respect in a world often divided. Experts weighed in, dissecting Catherine's actions with academic precision. Diplomacy scholars saw her as a case study in navigating cultural nuance. Dr. Aisha Alma, a Riyadh-based political analyst, noted that by choosing the shawl, Catherine elevated Saudi Arabia's cultural narrative, aligning with the kingdom's Vision 2030 push to showcase its heritage. In the UK, Professor James Hartley, a royal historian, praised her reciprocity, saying, "and perfectly aligned with British values of understated elegance." Analysts also drew parallels to historical royals, like Queen Victoria's careful gift exchanges with Ottoman sultans, but argued Catherine's approach was uniquely modern, shaped by social media's unblinking eye. The moment invited comparisons to other royal gift controversies. Diana's acceptance of a sapphire suite from Crown Prince Fahd in 1981 was frequently cited, but commentators noted the different eras. Diana faced less public scrutiny, while Catherine operates in a digital age where every decision is passed. Online, her refusal was seen as a response to this transparency, avoiding the backlash faced by figures like Sophie, Countess of Wessex, over Bahrain's duels in 2012. Yet what set Catherine apart was her ability to turn a potential misstep into a triumph. By embracing the shawl and reciprocating with cufflinks, she crafted a narrative of unity that resonated globally. The reaction wasn't just analytical, it was emotional. Stories emerged of British and Saudi citizens exchanging small cultural gifts inspired by Catherine's example. A London schoolteacher shared how her students sent handmade cards to a Saudi classroom, receiving woven bookmarks in return. These micro-exchanges, sparked by a royal moment, underscored the story's deeper impact. Catherine hadn't just navigated a diplomatic challenge, she'd inspired a ripple effect of connection, proving that even in a world of grand gestures, the smallest ones often matter most. Catherine's refusal of the Rose of Jeddah wasn't just a moment, it was a milestone in modern royalty, a testament to her ability to navigate the complexities of global diplomacy with elegance and heart. By choosing a hand-woven silk shawl over a £2 million diamond necklace and reciprocating with sterling silver cufflinks engraved with Celtic knots, she crafted a narrative that transcended wealth, focusing instead on mutual respect and cultural appreciation. This wasn't just about saying no to extravagance, it was about saying yes to connection, to shared values, and to a vision of diplomacy that feels human, even under the weight of royal duty. This story resonates because it reveals Catherine's essence, not just as a princess, but as a woman of principle, poised to shape the monarchy's future. Her actions strengthened Saudi ties without compromising her integrity, earning admiration from diplomats in Whitehall to artisans in Elisa. On X, fans shared heartfelt posts, one calling her the queen of soft power, while another shared a sketch of the shawl captioned, "This is what grace looks like." These reactions show how Catherine's choices ripple beyond palace walls, touching people who see her as a beacon of authenticity in a world often driven by optics. Her approach marks a shift in the monarchy's role. Unlike past eras where lavish gifts were accepted as symbols of alliance, Catherine's decision reflects a monarchy adapting to a more transparent, accountable age. She's paving the way for a future where royalty isn't defined by grandeur, but by impact, where a simple shawl or a pair of cufflinks can carry more weight than a diamond. This moment also highlights her personal influence. By honoring Saudi traditions and reciprocating with British craftsmanship, she showed that diplomacy can be a dialogue, not a transaction, setting a precedent for future royals like Charlotte or George. What's more, Catherine's actions inspired beyond diplomacy. They remind us that grace isn't about perfection. It's about making choices that align with your values, even when the world is watching. Her quiet leadership, much like her parenting or her charity work, shows that small gestures can have monumental impact. This story is a glimpse into a monarchy evolving, with Catherine at its heart, guiding it toward a future where connection trumps opulence. So what's your take on Catherine's diplomatic triumph? Did the shawl and cufflinks steal your heart, or was it her tact that left you in awe? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories of royal grace that remind us what true leadership looks like. Up next, another royal moment that might just take your breath away.